to help you stack more coins, create a solid financial foundation for yourself and your family, as well as swap fashion. The goal is to save more, earn more, spend smarter, have zero debt, invest, retire rich, and create generational wealth. Okay, and her website is odettaking.com. And I'm going to invite Odetta right now to join me. Let me see how this goes. So bear with me, okay? Let me invite her. Every week I think this thing is getting easier, but it's not. Hold on. Invite to join Odetta. So while we wait for her, guys, yesterday I was in Boston Harbor. You saw my video. Hi, Odetta.
Hey, Jameli. Thanks
How
for
are
having
you?
me on. Awesome.
Can you hear me very clear and you can see
Loud and
me?
clear. Loud and clear, and I can see you. You look fabulous.
You too, honey. You too. Beautiful. Okay. All right. So I have a little plan for tonight, guys. Let me see. All right. Hold on. All right. So the topic for tonight, as I mentioned earlier, is financial health and wealth in the Black community. Odetta is going to spit some gems, some Sunday gems on financial literacy and why it is important for us to have our affairs in order for when we go, and for us to have our affairs in order for our kids. And she's going to talk a little bit about life insurance, and she's going to spit some knowledge so that we can understand, because a lot of us, we don't understand the true meaning behind life insurance. We heard about one thing like whole life or term life, and we just don't understand all the other aspects of life insurance. So she's here to tell us a little bit more about things that we don't know. So I just showed you her book, guys. So make sure that you grab her book on Amazon.com. If you ain't stacking, then you ain't dropping. Then you drop in. And I started reading this book, and there's so much information in there. There's so much I've learned. It is a quick read, so that means you can read it and reread it and just keep, filling that mind with the financial literacy that you need. So Odetta, I'm gonna turn it over to you to tell me. I know I kind of talked a little bit about your background, but you could tell me a little bit about yourself.
Awesome. So first off, thank you so much for having me on. It's an honor. I know you're a woman of God, and I I just love everything that you're doing and how you're like literally transforming in front of our eyes. So keep up the good job.
Thank you.
So, for those of you who may or may not know, I am Guyanese. I live here in New York. Super, super, super passionate about really educating our community when it comes to money. Because to be honest and quite frankly, a lot of us did not have these conversations growing up. Our parents, they did the best they can, but times have changed. So, now that, we're in this era and we know better, my job is really to just educate as many people as I can when it
Thank
comes
you.
to personal finance.
Thank you, Odetta. So I kind of, let me see. I have some notes written down here. And I want to talk about, so tell us a little bit about your background in terms of the university that you attended and you being a professor and doing this gig. First, you started out doing it on the side. Now it's full time and you're making crazy money from it. So tell us a little bit about that.
Wow, it's a blessing. Yes, I am a professor. I teach at a university and a college here in New York. Believe it or not, guys, my background was not personal finance. But I think each and every one of us, we have something that we're just naturally good at. And so for my family, I was like the black Jew. I'm the one who was always saving, was always looking for ways to save my money. Like if there's a crisis or there's some issue going on in my family or my siblings, they're always coming to me for either money or for money advice, like what to do. So because I'm naturally good with saving money, it was just a natural path for me to help families, because I started out helping my own, just talking about finance and realizing that people would just come into me asking me what to do. So fast forward, I did decide to get the credentials, learn more, get my license, because I did graduate from NYU, but not with finance. I graduated with a major in business and marketing. So needless to say, this is how much we don't know about finance. I graduated from NYU. Not cheap, not a lot of us either in the classroom, right? I think when I was in college, I mean, at NYU, there was probably like 3 Black people in my program, 3. And we all gravitate to each other. Today's day, UC is my best friend. He's from Barbados. And then there was another Black American guy but it was just the 3 of us, right? Everybody else was Asian, they were white. And I never learned anything about money going to NYU. I never sat in a finance class. It's not an elective. It's not mandatory. And even the folks who were studying finance, they're not teaching us personal finance. They're teaching business finance to go work for the white man and make money for the corporation, not make money for us. Like, yeah, we're going to get a paycheck, but are we really being paid our word? And if we make all this money and we don't have the financial education to double, triple, and stack it, we could potentially end up losing it. Right? So it's just a blessing to know what I know, and I'm not someone who's selfish. I want everyone to know, whether they take advantage of it or not. My job is just to share the information.
Thank you. All right. So I'm going to segue into the conversation, and I want to start by reading a part of the acknowledgments from your book, right? So what it says is, I could not have written this book without the experiences and amazing people in my life. First and foremost, glory be to God, blessings to God, big up God. We don't know, all right?
First and foremost,
so without him, none of this nor my existence would be possible. Secondly, my amazing parents, Hubert King and Ingrid King, who provided me with an awesome life and migrated to the USA, the land of opportunity. I am forever grateful for having such loving, nurturing, and very supportive parents. And now it's my turn to take care of them. I want to talk a little bit about that. Your turn to take care of them and them giving you that opportunity by migrating here, which is the land of opportunity.
Well, I mean, growing up in Guyana, I'm one of those people that always wanted to come to the States. Like, I would dream, like I would sit on we call it balcony or veranda. Like, I would just like daydream. So when my parents got the opportunity to come here, it was just a matter of time. And I always said to myself, when I come to the States, I'm going to make something of myself. So I love my parents. They've done exceedingly well. They've done everything they could for us. I don't remember ever going hungry. I mean, I was living in Guyana and wearing American clothes, spending American dollars, which is a big deal, right? I remember wearing like padded shoulder and turtleneck. Like, it's Guyana, it's hot, right? But that just goes to show you, like, they really were looking out for us. And I think it's just the right thing to do. At some point, our parents become like kids, and as they age in life, fortunately for me, I'm in a position to be able to take care of them their later days of years. And they know this without a shadow of a doubt. If no other kid, Odetta King is going to be that one to not bear the burden, but be there for them. And what a better way to be there for them with having your finances together, right? Because if I can't be there physically, at least I can pay to have someone take care of them, or pay to have them stay in their house. Because guys, if you do not know this, when you are old, you do not want to be broke, because you're going to die quicker. Old and broke does not go together, right? And so if you're old and you have money, or you have someone who's taking care of you, studies show that you're going to live longer. You're going to be healthier because you have access and resources to go and see the best doctor, right? To live in a better community, to have someone come and take care of you. So it's hands down, it's my turn now to take care of my parents, especially my mom, because she's not married. My dad, he has remarried, he has his wife, but moms, we got to do the best for our moms. They give birth, they carried us for 9 months. And kudos to all the mom on this call.
Kudos to all the mom. Well, Odetta, that is a powerful statement. Now it's my turn to take care of them. That's very powerful, and I'm very intrigued by that. And that, when I read that in your book, made me want to learn more. Like, how can I put myself in a position to make sure that I'm able to take care of my father died when I was 6 months old, so my mother, against my mom. So I never met my dad, but how can I put myself in a position to be able to be there for my mother, who has done so much for us growing up in the Caribbean.
Wow.
All right, so now I'm gonna turn it over to you to school us, right? But before I do that, I want to just touch on the introduction where you said financial literacy should not be a dream, but rather a priority, right? So you talk about how this topic is not often understood or discussed, and you mentioned that when you were in school, and your goal and purpose for writing this book is to educate families to be financially lit, okay, which means financially literate, so that we as families can learn how money works, make better financial decisions, and become financially independent, and thus be free. So I remember when I met you for the first time, I was glued to the phone screen because it was during COVID, right? And it was a virtual session that we had. And I was listening to you and I was like, oh my goodness, like you told me about something I had to pay $100 or something. I was interested in something else regarding the business piece of things. And I paid that money right away because I was learning so much from you. I was just taken aback by so much, how much I did not know. So I want you to start, just tell us a little bit about the financial literacy that shouldn't be a dream, but it should be a priority, and things that we need to know.
Awesome. Well, guys, they say money's not everything, right? But when you don't have it, it sure is everything when you don't have it, right? I mean, I'm getting ready to go to Guyana in 2 weeks. And, going back home is such a humbling experience because you see so many people who not have because they don't have the means or they don't have the finances. I mean, even something simple as just buying food, right? So it's not like it has to be part of our education, but we can't depend on the government. We can't depend on education to educate us on this concept. And because it's not being taught, a lot of us can go our entire life working a job, probably making good money, but we're still going to retire poor. We're still going to retire living paycheck to paycheck. And ultimately, there's no generational wealth passing down. There's no one leaving $1 million, 2 million, $500,000, a property, or even when we do leave property, how do we keep that property in our bloodline? You have to pay the tax. I tell people all the time, even if somebody gives you a house for free, you still got to pay to keep it, pay the taxes, pay to maintain it. And most of us, if we don't have those finances, we end up selling it for next to nothing. I mean, I live here in Brooklyn, New York, and other cultures are constantly approaching us to buy our homes. And if you don't have your finances together, you might be tempted to sell your parents' home if they had left it to you, just because of not having your finances together. So it's absolutely needed. And when you know some of these basic financial concept, like the 3 rules of money, how many of you even know that money is a game and you got to know the rule? And when you know the rule, I don't care if you're working at McDonald's making $20 an hour, if you know these 3 money rules, I guarantee you 5-10 years from now, you're going to be in a position to be not only financially educated, but you're going to put your money to work for you. You're going to know exactly what to do with your money, just by basic money rules. And I mean, we live in the States where everything is at your fingerprint, online, but there's so much information out there. But if you have to sit with someone and know what's going on with your particular finance, not just reading about something, okay, let me sign up for some Bitcoin, or reading and then getting some stocks. Like, no, you have to sit with someone who is a financial professional and have a strategy designed for you based on where you are, based on what's your goals. Because you and I may have different goals. I may want to retire with 5 million. You may just be happy with $250,000, right? And so the education piece is so crucial. And unfortunately, our people, and we don't have the education, and the few of us that are educated or are doing things, they are so stingy. They're not sharing the information. They just want to keep it to themselves. Now, I get on my family case. I get on my cousin's case. I get on my sisters and brothers. I'm like, listen, you have kids. This is what we need to do to make sure that your kids are going to be better off.
Yeah, so my lovely, beautiful Black people on this live right now, Odetta just said something very important. There's one motto, that's my accent is coming out right now. Let me tell you that
Just bring out the Jamaica, man. Just bring out the Jamaica.
let me tell you, it's the statement is it's lift as we climb, and we have to lift as we climb. When we get into certain positions, we tend to forget our people, and we tend to not want to, we tend to get information and not want to share it with them. So what she's saying is that when you get information, and Maya Angelou said it best, she said, when you learn, teach, and when you get, give. So make sure that just like she is volunteering her time tonight to educate us, to educate the Black community. Make sure that you are doing the same. Sometimes we get these big jobs and we know that one of our friends need a job and we don't even look out for our friends. You have these financial literacy information and you're leaving your Black beautiful brothers and sisters behind. Make sure that we're uplifting each other, we're lifting as we climb, and that we're sharing information as we get it. So someone in the comment is asking you, Irma G is asking you, Odetta, what are the 3 rules of money?
Awesome. Well, you see, who else does not know the 3 rules of money? Put a comment if you do not know it, or raise your hand if you do not know the 3 rules of money. And I'll talk about it. So, guys, 3 years ago, I didn't know that money have rules. I didn't even know what the rules are. Right? I did not know. So the first rule to money is we got to get our money to work for us.
Mm-hmm.
Have to get our money to work for us. And so many of us don't even know the basic rule of compound interest. I didn't create it. My uncle, Albert Einstein, created that rule. So what it is you take 72, the number 72, and you divide it by the interest. Guys, if you know this and you're borrowing money, you want to pay back that loan before your money doubles. So, but what if you're putting your money to grow or to save? You also want to know that rule so you'll know how much you're going to have in a certain time frame. So the first rule to money is you got to get your money to go to work for you. It's not just enough you put in your 8 hours on the clock and then you get a paycheck and that's it. You want to put your 8 hours in, but also have your money working for you while you're going to work. So it simply means us looking for accounts and vehicles that's going to give us a high interest. And unfortunately, most of us put our money in the bank. The bank does not grow our money, right? The interest is 0.025, not even a half a point. So that's the first rule. Get your money to work for you. Get your money to work for you. And if it's sitting in the bank, it is not working for you. In fact, you're losing money
Yes.
sitting in the bank.
And they're using your money to make money. When you have that money sitting in your savings account and looking at it and admiring it every day, the bank is using your money and they're making money off of your money.
Yep. So that's the first rule. Get your money to work for you. Find accounts that are giving you 8%, 9%, 12%, right? And get it to work for you. The second rule to money is understanding taxes. And listen, rich people and wealthy people, they are constantly looking for these tax-free or tax advantage accounts. So you want to put your money in accounts where you're legally paying the least amount of tax legally. That's not going to be the bank, and that's not going to be in the stock market, because you're going to pay whopping amount of taxes when you're ready to touch that money. But again, you get a job, and what do they tell you? Sign up for a 401k. Yes, it's good that you're saving in the 401k, but how much of that money is going to be taxed, and how much are you going to keep? So the second rule is look out for taxes. And again, because most of us don't even understand taxes, you know, we're putting our money in accounts that we're going to end up paying more taxes, right? And then the third rule of money is investment. Listen, I get it. There's cryptocurrency, there's Bitcoin, there's all these coins. But if you don't have your financial foundation set up, you could be making a lot of money in Bitcoins, but then guess what? You might also lose. So now you're gambling. So the third rule to money is finding investment accounts where your money is going to grow and where you will never, ever lose money, regardless of what's happening in the stock market. And my second uncle, Warren Buffett, said there's 2 rules to investment. Number 1, never lose money. Number two, remember rule number one. So how many of you right now have your money in accounts, and when the stock market go down, you were losing money? I don't care if it's $5. There are accounts out there that you can invest your money and never lose a penny when the stock market drop. I have those accounts. I teach my clients those accounts, and this is what financial education does. When you know these accounts, you're winning the money game. So those are your 3 rules.
Yeah, so it looks like, let's see who, Delnique Thomas in the comment, looks like she knew what that was already. Compound interest, taxes, and investment options. So, wow, let me tell you, Odetta spitting some gems tonight, okay, on Sunday Gems. Thank you so much, Odetta. Appreciate it. So all of you on here who have that money in the saving account, make sure that you link up with Odetta after we get off this live so that she can show you how you can gain some compound interest on your funds, how you can legally avoid the excessive taxes, and what are your investment options to make your money work for you. So let's talk a little bit about children, okay? So if you don't have a plan, you said on page, what page is this? Let's see. In the introduction, if you don't have a plan to send your kids to college, student loan or debt-free, and create generational wealth to pass on, then you also need to speak with Odetta. So Odetta, tell me a little bit about plans that we need to put in place to send our children to college, and for them to, my daughter right now, she has student loan that she owes at such a young age. I have student loan that I owe. So tell us a little bit about how we can avoid that.
Yes. Well, student loan, my friends, will follow you into your old age. There's an article that talks about 3 million, and I posted this a while back on my social media page, and I think again last week. There's about 3 million senior citizens today that are still paying back student loans from God knows how long. Come on, they're retired right now, right? And that money, when you read the article, that money is coming out from their Social Security. That's not fair, right? But I mean, they didn't know. I mean, most people today are not getting a lot of money on Social Security. So on top of it, to be having to pay 100 or 2 or whatever, it's hard. So what I tell my clients is, if you have kids, whether they want to go to college or not, if you can, put aside some money in the best types of accounts that whether your kids decide to go to college or not, you can access that fund. And if they do decide to go to college, depending on where that money is sitting, it is not going to count as an asset and not have your kid get free money from the school, because every school has free money to give. So if you're saving right now for your kids, or you're thinking at some point you want to save money for your kids, the best #1 tool to save and invest for your kid is in a product called IUL. Now, IUL stands for Index Universal Life Insurance. Now, a lot of you may say, oh my God, life insurance. Yes, life insurance. The rich have been doing this for years. If you understand what I'm telling you, or even if you don't, trust me, I've been doing this for almost 5 years now. And the type of life insurance that you're using is not your basic whole life, and it's not your basic term, okay? It's an Index Universal Life Insurance. Now, when you put money in that account, you're saving money, you're investing money, right? And on top of it, your child has life insurance. So most of my clients that have babies, I call them millionaire babies, because the way I've set up their policy is that child is going to have $1 million tax-free cash when they're 65. So because we set up the account, not only college money is going to be there waiting for them, but what about when they buy their first house? What about if they want to buy a car? What about if they want to start a business? It's not only college. So if you have a 529, I'm going to tell you right now, you have to, or if you know anyone that has a 529, you have to get in touch with me, because a 529, although it is good, you're going to lose money when the stock market drops. And you're also going to have to pay penalty and fees if your child decide they don't want to go to college. Maybe they want to be an entrepreneur, maybe they want to start a business, maybe they want to buy hairs and be a hairdresser, or maybe they want to do something besides going to college. And if you do that, 10% off the bat is going to go to Uncle Sam, which is a penalty, because those accounts are set up for college.
Mm-hmm.
So although it's good that you're saving, we're talking some next level stuff. We're talking
Yeah.
saving
Yeah.
smart with strategy that gives you more than just savings and investment.
Next level stuff, guys. Okay. Listen, there are three people in this world. There are people who wonder what's happening. There are people who know what's happening, and there are people who make things happen. So Odetta is here to teach us. Okay, no problem. She's here to teach us how to make things happen, guys. Okay, so this is some next level stuff. All right, so in chapter 7 of your book, Odetta, you talked about, you know, insurance and protection, and 5 reasons why. Listen to me carefully, guys. 5 reasons why you do not, okay, need life insurance. So listen carefully. If you believe that you're never going to die, then you don't need life insurance. If you believe that, or if you know that you're going to get an inheritance of a fortune, then you don't need life insurance. And the sad thing is that most of us, with our background and being people of color, we don't have any fortune to inherit, okay? If you believe that you're going to win the lottery, then you don't need life insurance. We know that it is possible, but how many people do we know that has won the lottery, right? This one is tough. It says, if you don't like your kids, if you don't like your loved ones, or even yourself, then you don't need life insurance. And if you expect the government to take care of your final expenses, then you don't need life insurance. So we all know that these things are not possible, right? So Odetta, I want you to school us a little bit on the different types of life insurance. You just touched on the IUL just now, but kind of talk a little bit more about the term life and the group life that we get when we're at our organization. I remember at my previous organization that I started back in 2012, I felt okay because I was a part of that group life, you know, and I was like, oh, I didn't understand it, right? So not having that financial literacy, moving to America 3 years, you know, prior to that time, getting that job, seeing that group life insurance policy and being excited that I had the life insurance policy until I decided to leave that job. And then I was like, oh, you can keep the life insurance policy, but not for the $10 that I was paying when I was employed to the organization. Now it's a whole lot of money that I was required to pay. So I think she's having some, okay, here we go, you're back. So I learned the hard way that, okay, that life insurance policy that I got when I was with the company, that's not the way to go. So dive deeper into life insurance for those who are online. Can you hear me?
Oh my God, you're breaking up. Hold on.
Okay, guys, looks like
I just turned
Odetta
off
is
my Wi-Fi. I don't know why that's there.
Okay. Did you hear what I said earlier, or do you want me to repeat it?
Yeah, can you repeat it?
Sure. So you heard when I read chapter 7 of your book, where you talked about those who, there are reasons why you do not, 5 reasons you do not need life insurance. You're never going to die. We know that is not true. You're going to inherit a fortune. Most of us, I'd say 99% of us, are not going to inherit any type of fortune. Most of us are first generation people of our family living in America, okay? In the land of opportunity. If you're going to win the lottery, we know that that's more than likely that we're not going to win the lottery. If you don't like your kids or your loved one or even yourself, then you don't need life insurance, or you expect the government to take care of your final expenses. I think Odetta is having technical difficulties, guys. But let me just, okay, so Delnique Thomas in the comment, she said there are 2 types of insurance, traditional and non-traditional. Okay, so we lost Odetta. Irma, I don't know if you're still on, but it looks like you requested to be on the live. I don't know if that was a mistake or if you still want to be on. If you have a question and you want to jump on, just type in the comment and I'll add you. Delnique, you appear to have a lot of information when it comes to financial literacy. and we would love to hear a little bit more. So let me know if you want to. Okay, Odetta is back, and so is, let me see, hold on. Sorry, guys. Okay, so that was a mistake. Okay, got it, Irma. All right, so Odetta is back. Okay, honey. All right, you're back. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. By the way, Dalik is one of my business partners, so that's why because of this financial campaign, she knows a lot. She's one of us.
Okay, okay, all right. That explains it. Okay, all right. So I want you to talk about life insurance. In chapter 7 of your book, you were talking about people who don't need life insurance, and the 5 reasons you gave. We know it's not going to happen. Like, we know we're going to die one day, and we love our children, we love our loved ones, and we want to make sure that we have something that we leave behind. So talk a little bit more. You talked a little bit about the IUL. So talk a little bit more about the non-traditional life insurance, the group life, and the whole life. And I don't know if you heard me when I was talking a little earlier about the group life that I had at my previous job, and not understanding that I thought I was set. I thought I had life insurance and I was good. But when I stopped working at the organization, I didn't have life insurance anymore, because the amount of money that they wanted me to pay, I was not able to afford that. But it was super cheap, you know, when I was there, and not understanding the different type of life insurance and how important it was to have life insurance. So can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Awesome. Well, I want to say first off, there's a lot of negative connotation or association with life insurance. Most of us, we think it's something that we just buy and we pay for it, and we don't really ever reap the benefits. When we die, our family gets it. Now, that's true to some extent. But then again, there's different types of life insurance. You have traditional and you have the non-traditional. Most of us have the basic traditional, which is a term life insurance is the first that ever came into existence. So with a term life insurance, you know, there's different times. So you could take out a 5-year term, a 10-year term, a 15-year, a 20-year. But keep in mind that when that term ends, you no longer have it, right? So if you take out a 30-year term, it's good, but 30 years later, all that money was wasted. If you didn't die, who wins?
The life insurance company. Yeah.
Right. So if I recommend a term to someone, and by the way, I'm licensed to sell all of them, but if I recommend a term to someone, it would be because maybe they cannot afford more. So I'm helping them with their budget based on where they are right now. But the intent is always to own and have a permanent policy. Because now so think about it. Do you want to rent or do you want to own? When it comes to your life, you definitely don't want to just insure your life for 30 years and then that's it. So term life insurance, that's it. It's for a certain amount of term, right? Or period. And then you have whole life, which a lot of other people have whole life. Now, in whole life, there's 4 different types of whole life. And most people only know one type, the basic whole life. Again, nothing wrong with that, right? But if you really want some next level stuff, if you want to stack your coins, if you want to have that tax-free coins, if you want to have generational wealth, right? Yeah, a whole life may not necessarily do it, because again, the mindset when people are buying those type of policy is, you know, I just want to make sure my burial is covered, and, you know, maybe leave like 10, 20 grand for the grandkids. That's okay, but it's really not, like, you're really not doing anything much with that, right? And also, there's different types. So most people, I live here in New York, everyone that I've sat with, they all had either a term or a whole life. I've yet to sit with someone who has an index. But you know what? When I talk to not our people, they have the index. They know about the index. The minute their kids are born, 15 days old, with a social security, they know exactly what to put on that child's, you know, flesh, right? Because immediately, generational birth, generational wealth, generational money, increasing your net worth, your asset, like all of that starts from 15 days old. And that's what I'll be doing for my kids when they're born. 15 days old, I know exactly what to do. So whether I'm alive or not, they're set. And then you have group, which is your job insurance. And again, there's different types because you may have a great state job, a great city job, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they may give that to you, like, police officers, nurses, and they, they have a group life, or the army. And some of them, or some jobs, when you leave that job, it does not go with you. Or if it does go, now you're paying out of pocket, just like your health insurance. If you're no
Mm-hmm.
longer with the company, they're
Right.
not going to pay your health insurance. They're going to give you
Cobra.
Cobra.
Yeah.
So with life insurance, some companies, when you leave them, it does not go with you. Or if it does go, they say, now you have to fund it.
Hey.
And most people, they're older. It's been a couple of years later, and they don't want to, put all that money paying for something. Sadly enough, I have a 80-something-year-old lady. Her goddaughter reached out to me because she had a great job, worked at Rockefeller Center here in New York for years. And now she's retired. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like 5 years later, when she got into retirement, she realized she did not have the policy that her job had covered her for when she was working there. So now in your 80s, you know how much is going to be covered? A lot.
Mm-hmm.
A lot. So
Mm-hmm.
guys, like I said, I know life insurance is something that a lot of us, we do not embrace, we do not believe in, because of what we know. And what we know, I can tell you hands down, we do not know all the different types. And if you know of all the different types, you're going to be excited about getting the right policy, that you're just not only paying for a burial, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to invest your money smart. You're going to save in that account smart. And along the way, yes, you're building your wealth. But what about the living benefits? What if you get sick? What if you become disabled? Who is paying you anything besides whatever disability, or if you had a good job and they've given you something? It's not enough. You got to have multiple sources of income. So I can't stress it enough that I know it's a taboo for a lot of us. I remember sitting with a pastor, and he was telling me, why would I want to take out a life insurance for my kid? And I said, well, you don't know what I know. But if you know what I know, you'll want to do it, because I'm sure everybody wants their kids to be, to be well off than the parents. And that's the number one way that all of us, it does not take a lot, all of us can build wealth through this one vehicle.
Mm-hmm.
Because we got to save our money. So why not save it smart? A lot of us want to invest, but we're losing money when the stock market drop. On top of it, even if we do invest and we're making money, a good chunk of that money will go to Uncle Sam.
Mm-hmm.
If you have an IUL, with an IUL, you're legally minimizing paying Uncle Sam a lot of tax, because he's telling us how much we can put in the IUL. So he knows about these policies. He is the one saying, this is the max you can contribute in an IUL. So you're definitely saving on taxes. You don't have to worry what the stock market is doing, up, down, because you don't care. You're not losing money. Like, how awesome is that to never, ever lose money?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Wow. Yeah. Well, thank you, Odetta. Listen, some gems you're spitting tonight. I am so excited. I see a lot of people on here. I think most of them are your people. So thank you so much for joining, everyone. For those who are just joining, the topic tonight is financial health and wealth in the Black community. And we have the swap queen herself, Odetta King, who is schooling us in financial literacy so that we can understand what it means to save and to save smart and to make money on our savings and not just have it sitting in a savings account, what it means to protect our life and to have life insurance that offers living benefits. So a lot of us think that we're getting life insurance, when we die, someone else is going to get it. But she's telling us that there are other types of life insurance that we can pay reduced taxes legally on, and we can reap living benefits. And I want to talk a little bit about, I have a friend who worked at the bank, right? And she's on the live right now. And she told me that they, working at the bank, she would see people come in, and these are white people taking out $20,000, $25,000. Oh, I'm paying for my daughter's wedding. I'm paying, we can't do that in the Black community. And just understanding the what Odetta is teaching us tonight, the financial literacy that she's telling us about, and helping us to understand the different types of way that we can make, earn, and get money and save money, that opens my eyes. Because when she would tell me that, you know, they'd come, they're like, okay, I need a check for 30 grand. You know, we don't have that money. So when we listen to what is being taught tonight and take advantage of it and speak to Odetta after this live so that she can help us to stack our coins, then we too can be in that situation where we can help or one of our child or children when they're getting married or when they want to buy a house, we can help with the deposit. I want to go into the comments a little bit. So Sav, let's see, Sav BC 35 Clark says, Odetta, your information changed my life and I'm forever grateful. So Delnique did say that she is your business partner. And then Suzette Miller, such a beauty to see someone I attend school with standing in her purpose. Thank you, Suzette. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. And then Delnique also says, think of term insurance as renting and permanent insurance as owning your own home. And she also says in her community, we need to start creating general legacy. Okay. I am Lolita says, thanks for this information, Black girl. Okay.
Black girl rocks.
Thanks for the information. And this is Black girl magic. And Irma says, very informative. Well done. So I'm going to move along to chapter 9, where Odetta says, oh, before I move along, I want to say she talked about that person who retired, who was working for this company for many years. And by the time she found out that she no longer had her life insurance, she was in her 80s, right, Odetta?
Yep.
So when we have these situations, yes, we can get life insurance through AARP, but these life insurance are going to be like 10 grand or 12 grand. And that just covers the final expenses, the burial expenses. So we have situations like this where we find out maybe our parents or grandparents and we run and we grab something that we can afford. And when we're getting these $10,000 and $12,000 life insurance policies, we're paying like $400 a month for them. So don't get to that place. Make sure that you are, you know, you're gonna go to Odetta's website, www.odettaking.com. I have it pinned in the comments, and you're gonna learn more about what it means to stack your coin. So chapter 9, you said, don't be selfish. It's time to break the generational curse of leaving our loved ones in debt or scrambling to bury us. We have to leave money, assets, legacy, and generational wealth for our bloodlines or others behind us. Don't be selfish. Let's leave something to help others coming after us, especially if you have kids or loved ones. So this is talking about estate planning. So Odetta, tell us a little bit more about the importance of estate planning.
Awesome. Well, first of all, everybody has an estate. I don't care if you have $100, $500, or $1 million. Everybody has an estate. But again, because of this lack of education, we don't understand it. Everybody on this life right now needs to have at minimum a will. Oh, something as basic as a will, especially if you have kids under 18. One of our business partner passed away, I think it was early this year, and she had one daughter, Olivia, right? And when the mom passed away, she had a bank account, she had money, but Olivia, her only daughter, could not access any of her money. Now, had she had a will set up, she could have taken that will to the bank and to every other place along with the death certificate. Now, she went to the bank because I was talking to her through the whole time. She went to the bank and explained to them, listen, my mom passed away. I'm the only child. And they couldn't. Their hands are tied, because what if she was not the only child? What if there was someone else named who was on the account? So something as basic as a will, everybody needs. And of course, if you have assets or you have more things, then you definitely want to start looking into an estate, you know, like setting up a trust. Now, why is this important? Because things are going to fall through the crack. And along the way, you know, I mean, think about it. Even among our own self, we may end up fighting for stuff. Why should we be fighting for stuff? Like, you know, I want the house, I want the car, I want the jewelry. Like, no, just put everything in writing. So God forbid, whenever, because most of the time it happens prematurely, we don't know when we're going to go. To just have our affairs in order. And if we're truly wanted to like build wealth and pass it down and keep it, we want to make sure that we're setting up our estate correctly, so our kids don't squander it as life go by. So like I said, I mean, and going back to life, just life insurance in whole, it's one way to build wealth, because this is something that when someone passes away, the government or taxes can come after that. You can be sued today and they'll go after your stuff, but your life insurance is never part of up for discussion. It's never on the table. They can't come to you for it. And if you know, it's just like I said, it's one vehicle that everybody needs to have in their strategy for finance. It's doable. Like, imagine all the people that died last year during COVID. Imagine if every person had $1 million policy. What would that do right now for their family? But instead, we're scrambling and we're trying to, you know, fight for this stimulus check. GoFundMe. Yeah, and GoFundMe. You know, it's funny. I said today to one of my business partners, like, I'm so not subscribing to GoFundMe anymore, because people know what I do, and like we have to stand firm and not let people think it's okay to always be begging for money to bury someone. Like, no, you could get a basic policy for like $20. Not everybody's gonna afford an IUL or can even qualify for an IUL, but at least get you something that's, you know, can, God, but if something happened, like there's like 200,000 or $250,000 being paid out to hold your family over, and that right there is an estate, and it's a blessing, man. It really is a blessing.
And I actually know someone who he passed away from cancer, and he had a daughter, and she was about 25, 26. You know how, you know, we talk about how we never want to die. You know, parents should not be burying their kids. We never want to die and leave our kids. We want to see them past the worst. And this girl was 25, and I'm thinking, okay, it's very sad, but at least she's 25, right? But she lost the house because he didn't have a will.
Wow.
And she wasn't able to, I think he had filed bankruptcy and was coming out of it. I don't know the full story, but it was such a sad situation because she ended up in a situation where she had nowhere to live. Wow. And she had a home before he passed away. Wow. When he died, she lost the house. So it probably was a situation like this where there was no will and she couldn't claim anything, and he didn't make the final preparation. I know it's taboo, guys, when we think about making a will. You know, we're thinking, in the last week we talked about mental health, and there's so many stigmas when it surrounds mental health in the Black community, and there's stigmas when it surrounds getting a will, having a will, and creating, you know, understanding what it means to have an estate. But we have to have a will because we never know the day or the time that we're not going to be here anymore, and we have to. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Uh-oh. I can't hear you, Adela. Can't hear you. Okay. I don't know what's going on. She got cut off. But guys, you know, we're thinking, oh, if we call an attorney and we have them write a will for us, then we are putting it in the atmosphere that we're going to die soon. No, we got to look at things differently. We have to educate ourselves and understand that, you know, this is about our loved ones and who we're leaving behind and what we're leaving for them and how much debt we're going to leave them in. So all right, so I'm adding her. So guys, there's a few of you. Hi, Michael Vassal, how are you? Suzette, Michael, there are a few of you who are asking about the name of the book. It's called If You Ain't Stacking, Then You Dropping, and it's only $10. And let me tell you, it's the best $10 you're gonna spend. You can get that book on Amazon.com, and a lot of people in the comments that said that they're going to buy the book. It's a very easy read, and there's a lot of information in there. So I just want to wrap it up here. So guys, we want to make sure that we understand the 3 rules of money, right? So we want to make sure that we're getting our money to work for us, that we understand taxes and how we can legally pay the least amount of tax. What are some investment options that we have? And as Odetta mentioned earlier, get yourself a financial planner. They're the experts. They know, you know, what information to advise you and how to advise you, and what, you know, what are the different investment opportunities and how you can, what are the, not just, so we have like, we know about CDs at the bank. What is the best option for you to get that 8% that she talked about? Understanding life insurance, understanding the difference between renting insurance, you know, or buying insurance. It's just like rent. Do you want to rent your home or do you want to own your home, right? So we need to understand group life and whole life and term insurance and so on. And the IUL, she talked about that. Not everyone may qualify for the IUL insurance, but there are other types of insurance that you can get to protect yourself and to leave something for your kids and your loved ones. Retirement, you want to retire comfortably, right? So pay attention. Some of us, we've been at our jobs for 30, 40 years, and we're fine right now because we have the 401k, we have the life insurance that we have from them, we have the health insurance. But what happens when you retire? Are you going to continue to have those things? And you want to make sure that you're paying attention to those things and that you're making a way so that you can break that generational curse and conflict when it comes to the financial illiteracy in the Black community. All right. Odetta, any final words before we wrap it up for tonight that you want to leave with the audience? So she said the book is also on her website.
Yes, it is. OdettaKing.com. I mean, guys, it is not rocket science. Like I said, I didn't come from a financial background. I didn't graduate. Each and every one of us, there's basic things. If you just apply the 3 rules of money, there's basic things we all can do to build wealth. And for some of us who might already be, you know, older, there's still things we can do for the next generation. Like I was on the other line with a client of mine who's in Georgia. He was like 68. And when I showed him some stuff, obviously he's like already in retirement. But because of the information, he sees the importance of making his grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
So even though he's like, well, you know, it's a little too late for me with what I have, I want to make sure that my 2-year-old grandkids, now that I know this information, I want to help them have a better future. So it's doable, it's possible. You don't have to have a lot of money. Just make sure you get in touch with us so we could do a financial needs analysis, see where you are. And guys, if nothing else, education. Financial education. We have workshops every single day of the week, 3-4 times every day. It's on a webinar style. You could be any part of the country and Zoom in and learn about money, learn about your investment, learn about taxes, learn about debt, learn about protecting yourself, learn about growing and saving your money, right? I mean, I talk all the time. My brother's 37 and he's a double amputee. If we had some of these strategies for him, he could have had a little better time right now. I mean, yes, his legs will never grow back, but you know, just making life a little easier would have gone a long way if he had some of these living benefits and things in place that I'm teaching families right now to put in place. We never know. It's not just about debt, but we also want to protect our money. We want to protect our health. And I say health because health is directly linked to your finance. Believe it or not, right? If you're stressed about health, if you're stressed about money, what kind of state of mind, how is your health, right? And vice versa. If you're not healthy, well, how are you going to see the best doctors, right? It's costly healthcare. We live in the States, it's costly. So those are my lasting words. And thank you so much for this opportunity. And looking forward to, you know, if you ever need in the future, I'm definitely here. And sorry for all the interruption with the technology and the in and out, but we may have to do another one if it's okay with you.
That's okay. So let me just share a quote. You know, I'm the quote lady. Got to share my quote. So this one says, you must gain control over your money or the lack of it will forever control you. Okay. So in the book, Odetta also talks about budgeting. That's very important. right here it says time is more valuable than money. You can get more money, but you cannot get more time, right? So we talk about the time and the health. It's all related, right? They're all connected. So make sure that we are using our time wisely so that we can make money, right? And the money you make is a symbol of the value that you create, okay? So you want to make sure that we create that value, break that generational curse in our community, and leave something. I live in Milford, Massachusetts. It's a small white town, and I worked around a lot of white people. And these people there, they said, oh, I bought my house last year because my grandmother passed away, and I got $10,000 from her life insurance policy.
Wow.
And I was able to use it as a deposit. So these are things that they have access to, and we have the access right in front of us, and we want to make sure that we are making use of it and that we're learning as much as we can. There's so much that I myself need to learn. So I will be connecting with Odetta after this as well. So guys, make sure that you follow me and go on her website, www.odettaking.com. Odetta, thank you so much for everything that you're doing for the Black community. Thank you. In your book, you talked about advocating and talked about, you're a big advocate for education and knowledge, and you sit down with countless families. So we thank you for everything that you're doing. This Caribbean girl came to America, taking advantage of the American dream and doing big things over there in New York. And we just want to salute you for all the good, wonderful things that you're doing. And thank you so much for your time tonight. Thank you everyone for joining. And I hope you have a blessed night. And I look forward to seeing you next week, where we're going to talk about, so the topic next week, May 30th, is personal care, the importance of personal care. And I have two experts that own their own business in masseuse. They're I can never say that word. Estheticians. Estheticians. So we're going to talk about the importance of personal care. So make sure that you join me next week. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a wonderful night. Thank you, Odetta. Have a great night.
You're welcome, Jamali. Thanks.
Bye, everyone. Thank you for tuning in.